Hello everyone and welcome you all to another chapter of the Adobe Premiere Pro Essentials tutorial. So now we are on our chapter number 11 and here I will be showing you how you can animate with keyframes. Okay, so in last class I have showed you guys how you can actually use the motion in your video. Okay, but in this particular class, I'll be showing you how you can animate those in different ways and how the keyframe is quite useful over here. So we'll be learning about all of that here in this particular class. So let's not waste time and let's get started on learning or animating with keyframes in Adobe Premiere Pro. So here, as you guys can see, now I am here in the homepage of the Adobe Premiere Pro. So from here, the first thing what I'm going to do is I am going to create a new project. Okay, so I will just name this one as the keyframes. Okay, so I will just name this one as keyframes over here. And now I will create up a new project. Okay, so I will just click here on this create option. And now it will just uh, redirect me to my page. Okay, over here, this is basically the workspace which I'm going to use right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to double click over here. And now, as you guys can see, I do have a lot of videos. So I will just open all of this thing up. And here, as you guys can see, I do have all these images over here. So what I can do is I will just import one here in my timeline, and here you guys can also see that particular thing in my preview panel. Okay, and now I will also take a B-roll footage. Okay, so B-roll footage which I will just keep here on top. Okay, so you guys can see now the size is quite more. So now I will come here and unlink this first, and I don't want this audio. What I'll do is I will just delete this particular audio over here. Okay, so now again I want to import some music. So for that I will come here. Okay, and now again I will go to my resource file over here. Okay, and once I'm here in my resource file in my audios, I do have an audio which I am going to put. So if I just want to get a preview of what my audio is like, I can basically get a preview if I just play this thing out. Okay, so this is the audio which I do have here. Okay, now what I'll do is, as this one is the B-roll footage over here, now I will just select this footage right around here, and now I will go to my effects control panel. Okay, so for that I will come here, and here as you guys can see I do have this effects control. Okay, so as you guys can see this effects control, what I'll do is I will just position it accordingly. Okay, so I will just position it quite here on this side. Okay, on the right hand side, and I'll also scale this thing down a little bit. And I have also showed you, if you want to work it here in this particular frame, how you can actually work from your preview panel as well. Okay, so I will just keep this thing right over here. Okay, if I just select this one, and now if I double click, I can actually maintain the size or the place where I want to put this thing up. Okay, so now as you guys can see here, I do have a particular place. Okay, so now the first thing you need to know when you are trying to work with keyframes or animation, you just need to make sure that you use this toggle animation option. Okay, so here you guys can see a icon like a stopwatch. So this is the main thing how you can start your animation. Okay, so suppose here I want to add a keyframe. Okay, so as I am here in the starting of my video, I do need to keep this playhead over here. And now if I want to start this particular animation, in that case what I can do is I can just on my toggle animation from here. Okay, and as you guys can see, once I have on my toggle animation, there is a blue icon over here. Okay, so now what I can do is I can just play this thing up a little bit, or just bring my video kinda over here. Okay, so I will just bring this particular video kinda over here. And here, what I want to do is I want to change the positioning from here. Okay. So now, as you guys can see, if I am just moving this thing out, and if I just bring this thing kind of down over here, okay. So now I do have a keyframe right around here. Okay, so if I want to select, or if I want to cut it, if I want to undo this one, what I need to do is I need to come to my keyframe, and with my keyframe, if I want to select all of the keyframes which I do have here in my position, I can just select all of this here as well. Okay, see, the first one is also being selected right now. If I want to deselect, I can just click anywhere outside. Okay, so again, what I'm going to do is I will just bring this frame quite right here, and now again I will just change the positioning of my frame. Okay, so this is how my frame will basically work. And now if I want to change each and everything, okay, if I want to go back to my same positioning, so I can do is I can actually select the reset parameter option. Okay, now I hope you guys have understood this part about the positioning and how you can actually work on with the keyframes. Okay, so let me just play it for you guys, that you guys will be able to understand it in a better way. Okay, so here you guys can see the animation over here. So what I can do is, if I select this individually, if I wanna increase the spacing or decrease the spacing, I can basically do that. So this is how it will actually work. And now if I wanna select all of this over here, and now I can just move this thing around all together here as well. Okay, so now if I just place it somewhere over here, you guys can see normal animation, which is right around here. Okay, so here, as you guys can see, there is another option over here. Okay, if I just want to go back frame by frame, I can just go back frame by frame. Okay, so here you guys can see this is the icon if I want to go to the next frame, and here this is the icon if you want to go to your previous frame from here. Okay, so now again, what I'll do is, as you guys can see, I do have my scaling option down over here. Okay, I have showed you guys the motion over here. Okay, in scaling, like if you want to increase the size of this particular frame, or if you want to decrease the size of your particular frame, what you can do. But now I want to add some animation to it as well. Okay, so I am going to add some animation over here. So what I'm going to do is I also need to on the toggle animation here on my screen. Okay, so the first thing, I need to make sure that my playhead is at the start, or wherever I want to start my animation with the scaling. Okay, so first thing, you need to just on your toggle animation, and here you guys can see the options. Okay, if you just want to go to the previous keyframe. Okay, so right now I can't use this one. Okay, but what happens is, once you have more than one animation, okay, or more than one keyframe, okay, in that case you can just go around to the previous or the next one. Okay, sometimes when we're working with animation, we do have a lot of keyframes which we do have to work with. Okay, so what I want to do is, here in the first frame, I want to decrease or scale this thing down to 0. Okay, and I want to make it appear when it comes over here. Okay, and now, as you guys can see, if I just click on shift, so here I will try to just come here. Okay, and if I was telling you, like if I just click on shift, and if I try to move my playhead. Okay, so as you guys can see, if I just click and try to move on this particular playhead here in my effects control, see, as you guys can see, I am just going from frame to frame. Okay, so now I am going to keyframe over here. Okay, so I will come here, and what I can do is I can just bring this up somewhere to 50%. Okay, so I will just click on 50, and here I will click on enter, and here you guys can see this thing here have came. Okay, and now what I'll do is I will just come somewhere over here, and now I will just check, and I will just increase the frame size a little bit over here. Okay, And again, what I am going to do is once I come over here, okay, in this particular keyframe, I can use my shift for that. Okay, again, I will make it 0. Okay, like I want it to disappear. So as you guys can see now, if I just play this thing up, so it will just give me an animation quite like this. Okay, so what I can do is I can just select all of this all together, and if I just wanna move this thing around, I can just move this thing around according to myself. Okay, so I hope you guys have understood about this position and scaling. Okay, and now, if you want to give any kind of rotation, okay, to this thing, so for that, what you need to do is, again, you need to on your toggle animation over here, okay, and now, as I am over here, okay, then I will just come to this frame, and what I can do is I can just give this thing a 360-degree rotation. Okay, so as you guys can see, 360 is just a full rotation. Okay, so instead of doing like this, I can just directly come here and I can just write 360 and I will click on enter. Okay, so now what I can do is it will kind of appear like that. Okay, so again, if I want to give this thing any rotation, I can also give this thing some rotation over here as well. But this was all about the keyframes. Okay, you guys can actually use it according to yourself, the way you want, the way you want to use this. Okay, so this was about the keyframe, and there are a lot of things which we can do. Okay, so here, as you guys can see, how I do want my rotation over here. Will it be a linear one, Bezier, auto Bezier, continuous Bezier, hold in? If I want to put some thing like is in or is out. Okay, so let's see how it actually works. Okay, so it will just is inside. Okay, as you guys can see, and the icon here have also been changed. Okay, but if I just choose linear over here, the icon will go back to its same position. And I have already told you guys about the anchor point. Okay, and as I have not explained you guys what is anti-flicker. Okay, suppose it all sometimes it depends on your video. Okay, so I didn't come across any video and I don't use much of this anti-flicker, but as this one is present in the Premiere Pro, I hope you guys should know about this particular thing and its usage as well. Okay, so in anti-flicker, basically, like if you do have a video where there is flickering effect in the video and there is too much of flickering effect and you want to decrease that, in that case you guys can actually use the anti-flicker, and the Premiere Pro application will just detect the flickering in your video, and from here you can decrease or increase the intensity of the flickering from here. So now, instead of video, okay, I have just showed you guys this thing with a video. But suppose you do have a logo or you do have an icon which you want to put in any side of your video, okay, and you want it to come in an animated way. Okay, I'll be showing you guys about that, how you can do that. So before that, what I need to do is I need to go to my Chrome, and I will be showing you how you can actually download from some icons. Okay, so this is a pretty good website which is known as the Freepik. Okay, so from Freepik, basically you guys will be able to download a lot of icons. Okay, a lot of assets here you guys can see. Okay, so I will just search for an icon over here. Okay, so I will just increase the size from here, and now I will just search for some icon. Okay, so I will just search for a ball and I will click on enter. You guys can actually search whatever you guys would love to from here. Okay, so here, as you guys can see, I do have this particular icon. So over here, okay, let me choose this one and I will just take up a PNG of this particular thing, and now it is being downloaded here. Okay, and now again what I'll do is I will come here in my Premiere Pro, and what I can do is if I just double click over here. Okay, so I just need to double click, and now I will just go to my downloads up from here, and I will just take this one here in this particular panel. And what I can do is I will just drag and drop this thing over here, and here you guys can see this particular ball which I do have here on my screen. So what I can do is I will just move this thing around, okay, from this side. And what I can do is I will now decrease the size, or I want it to appear quite smoothly. Okay, so for that I will just decrease the scaling. So from here, as I have scaled down, what I'll do is I will just on the toggle animation from here. Okay, and as you guys can see, I do have my first keyframe over here. Okay, so I'll just move my frames somewhere around over to this particular frame. Okay, at 1 second, what I'm going to do is I am going to scale this thing up. Okay, so I am just going to scale this thing to 100%. Okay, so I will just come here, I will just write 100 and I'll just click on enter. And now at the same place, if I want to change or give this thing a rotation, I can just come here, I can on my rotation over here. And here, as you guys can see, I do have a particular warning sign. Okay, this action will delete existing keyframes. Okay, do you want to continue? So what I want to do is I will just cancel this thing. Okay, and now I will come here, and what I can do is once I do have this keyframe, and now I will come up over somewhere here, and now I will just give this thing a 360-degree rotation. Okay, so I will just give this a 360 rotation, and what I can do is I can just click on enter, and now you guys can see I do have this thing over here. And I can also do another thing, which is I can change the opacity down from here. Okay, so for that also I will just show you how you can actually use that. And make sure when you're working with keyframes, if you do have this one over here, okay, just click on shift from your keyboard and just work around with your mouse. Okay, so now I will come here in the opacity option, I will just on my toggle animation, and here in the opacity what I can do is I can just bring down my opacity to something around 50%. Okay, so I will just keep this around 50%. Again, I will just come here, as you guys can see that one is rotating. And now here I will give this one opacity of 100%. Okay, so I will just give this thing 100% rotation over here. And if you are familiar with Photoshop, okay, then you must be familiar with this blending mode here as well. Okay, so there are different kind of blending mode which we can use over here. Okay, so let's see what are the blending modes we do have here. So this is the dissolved version, this is the multiply one. Okay, and if you want to use the color dodge, here you can use the color dodge as well. Okay, and a lot many more. Okay, if you want to use the hue and saturation. So for me, what I'm going to do is I am going to use the color overlay. Okay, or I can also use the color dodge. Okay, so the color dodge looks quite good. So I hope you guys have understood. Okay, so let's just see a preview of how my video actually works. As this is a small video, okay, so just try to take a look. It's giving a rotation, and now here it is changing. So this total thing have changed. It's blending mode. Okay, so this is the start. It appears, rotation, and done. Okay, so here I have changed the opacity, and now if I want to change it or decrease it down, I can do that. Okay, if we want to go to the previous keyframe, you can come to the previous keyframe from here. If you want to go to the last keyframe, you guys can go to the last keyframe as well. And if you want to add any other keyframe here anywhere else, you guys can come here and just click here as well. Suppose if I am here in this particular thing, and now if I just click this one, it will be removed from here. Okay, so I will just come here. Maybe I will just go like 50%. Okay, so I will just go around 50% over here, and you guys can see this is how we can actually work out. So I can just select all of this, and I can select what I do want to use. Do I want to ease these things in or ease these things out? Okay, so these are different kind of effects which I can use on my keyframes. Okay, so these are a few of the advanced features. Okay, so now again what I can do is if I just play this thing around, rotation, and yeah, done. So I hope you guys have understood about keyframing in detail. And let me tell you guys, if you want to change anything at the end, okay, so every time you do have the option to just reset your parameters over here. Okay, if you want to change each and everything altogether, you guys can click here on the motion. There is another reset parameter. You guys can go there and click on that one according to yourself. Okay, you can also change your blending mode. Suppose I just want to get my normal blending mode. Okay, and now if I play here, you guys can see now it is being changed to its normal placing. And the last thing what I'm going to do is once it will come somewhere around here, before my video ends, what I want to do is I want to just scale this particular thing down. Okay, or I just want to make it disappear. Okay, so once I am over here, what I'm going to do is I am going to make it disappear. Okay, so over here it will kind of disappear. If you want to change it, you guys can also change the spacing from here. Okay, so now let's see a preview of this whole video. So this is how it will disappear at the end of my video. So see you all in the next class where I'll be explaining you guys how you can actually use the pen tool in different ways in the Adobe Premiere Pro. So see you all in the next class. Keep on practicing, guys. Hope to see you all in my next tutorial. Make sure to join. Goodbye, everyone.